much about Colombia against Venezuela, and it just ended. It ended like at 8. And it was one
Mm.
zero to Colombia for Colombia. So it was good. It was great, right? So, but probably that's the reason why today we only are like you, Santi, Majo, and me, and that's it. No more people. Some people cancel. Luisa canceled the class. Sarita canceled the class because I suppose they wanted to see the match, right?
I didn't know about that.
No, you don't like soccer about?
Just like the World Cup, but
Okay.
right now I don't know what is that.
Well,
I don't
actually,
know.
is the first match for the next World Cup to
Ah,
classify or
sí,
like the qualifiers of
como
the
las
World Cup.
eliminatorias.
Exactly like that.
Mm.
That's it. Bueno. So well, we won. The first 3 points are for us. Good. So it was good. Bueno, my dear. So today we're gonna be working on, as I told you, in our class number 4. The class number 4 is going to be super easy. Well, it's about a topic that probably we like a lot, and it's the music. Yeah, but of course, it's not going to be like what kind of music do you like? Maybe that question is going to be inside implicit there, but we're going to be talking about other different things. The first question that I would like to ask is like, what is the difference between the old music and the music, like the modern music? What difference do you find between the old music and the modern music? Is there a difference or it's everything the same?
Teacher, in my opinion, the old music is deeper with more feeling.
True, true. It's deeper with more feeling, you said, right?
Right.
Good, good, excellent. Good. I actually think something similar. I think the same that. Any other something? Any other difference?
No, right now, no.
No, not
No
right
more.
now. Okay, very good. Mahu, what do you believe? What do you perceive about the old music and the modern music?
That I think that in old music, like the musicians were really talented, and now like people use a lot like autotune and beats like fake, like
Yeah,
awful, like reggaeton. So yes, I also
completely
share
true.
the thought of Santi, who
Uh-huh.
said that is deeper. Because, for example, if you listen to that rock music from the 80s, the 90s, like the feelings were really deep.
Mhm.
So that is so difficult right now that happens.
Yeah, nowadays it's mostly about relationships and like basic relationships, not deeper, basically like physical relationships, like maybe partying, something like that. But before they were deeper, no? So there was like more complex relationship between the people, no? So that's why probably it was deeper. And bueno, Majo talked about something important that I wanted to ask you after, but she mentioned it already, and it's that the musicians were talented. So of course, if the music was different or it's different, the musicians should be too, right? So the musicians before they were really talented, they were knowledgeable, they were experts on the different instruments, while now it's more a little bit like auto-tune, automatized process. It's like more mechanical, no more automatized, more automatic process, and it's more directed by the machines, no? So by the software, it's easier for them. So in that case, well, there are different ways that we can describe this difference. One of them is talking about, or it's describing the old habits or the old customs, no, sorry, customs in music, no? For example, well, in my personal opinion, I think that the music before the music it used to talk it used to talk about a more serious and deeper topics, right? So that's actually what all of us think here, no? So it's like more serious, they were more serious. So in that case, I use the expression used to because it was something customary, it was something normal, like habitual before, no? It was a habit before. But if I said, if I want to express how the topics are now, of course, I'm talking about current customs, current customs. It's the habits that we have, well, not that that the music has now. I would have to use other different expression because, of course, if I use used to, well, it's not the same, no? So in that case, used to is for the all past habits. But if I say current customs, probably we have to use used to, but in infinitive, no? So, for example, the musicians, let's say they used to use, a lot of technological help. Yes, a lot of technological help. Yeah, so of course we have the expression used to for the past and also for the present. Yes, like solían and also suelen in the present. Easy, ready? But it's not the only way in which I can describe customs in the past and in the present, or habits in the past and in the present. Well, in this case, I'm going to use modal verbs in order to do that, and especially one. It's going to be the modal verb will, of course, in the present when I say like something will always happen, or would when I mention that it would happen in the past. Ready? Of course, when I say will and would, it's going to require other different like elements in order to be taken as customs. So in that case, I'm going to require not only the modal verb, but also expressions like, for example, uh, frequency expressions like, for example, always, usually, all the time, every day, for example, in the present. Yes. And all other different adverbs when we use would, like, for example, back in time, long time ago, years ago, when I was in school, right? To be taken as a habit in the past, right? So, of course, when I say, like, let's say 20 years ago, 20 years ago, I would play video games and listen music all afternoon after school. All afternoon after school. So in that case, I'm saying 20 years ago, I would play. I would play like in the second conditional now? No, I would play in the past. So in that case, these expressions over here are going to help me to describe customs in the past and customs in the present. It sounds a little bit funny for us because we are not used to do that. We are only used to use solía or suele, but we have other different possibilities over here. Ready? The difference is that when we use this expression would or will, it's going to be with action verbs, not only with action verbs. Remember that we have different categorizations or classification of verbs. One of the classification is about the action that they mention. In that case, I am going to have two different kinds of verbs. Action verbs, which are all the verbs that require or that imply a physical action. Like, for example, go, do, speak, eat, no? They imply a physical action. And on the other hand, I am going to have the stative verbs. Do you have any idea what are the stative verbs, guys? Stative verbs?
No.
No idea. The stative verbs are going to be the verbs that are not physical, but are more like, for example, cognitive actions. For example, think, understand, like, yes, verb to be, right? Those verbs that they don't imply a physical, like, movement action, but they can be done without moving. For example, when I say, I am from Colombia or I am from Bogota, I don't have to move to be from Bogota. I can be like this, not moving, and I am still I'm from Bogota. Or for example, when I say I know the theory, for example, so let's say I know the theory. I don't have to move. It's a cognitive process that is happening in my head. So I'm just saying, oh yes, I know the theory, but it doesn't require for me to do an action. Ready? So we're going to have those two different kinds of verbs, action verbs and stative verbs. In that case, the expression used to is going to have the possibility to receive both verbs. action verbs and stative verbs. So for example, I used to play, action verb. I used to think, stative verb. I used to have, a stative verb. I used to practice, action verb. Yes. But would only receives the action verbs. It's not commonly used when we have an stative verb. For example, I would go, I would practice, I would play, I would make, ready? But not normally related to the stative verbs. I would understand, not really. I would know, not really. I would think, not really, because those are going to be actions that are not like physically movement, but they require more cognitive processes, right? So in that case, we can use these expressions for talking about the habits in the past. For example, the music used to be, I have to use used to because it's an extra stative verb, you know. The music used to be deeper, yes. The music used to have more feeling. The music used to have more messages or better messages, right? But for example, when I use would, I could say, for example, that the musicians would use their talents or the musicians would play with their hands, right? Like, which is a physical action of that, right? That's talking about the music. But what about on the other terms? What do you find about the habits, the old habits in other terms? What would we use before? Yes, exactly.
An example, my grandfather would use
Yeah,
pipa. How do you say?
pipe.
Of
The
smoke,
pipe. Oh, well, yes.
right?
So your grandfather used to smoke, or well, would smoke in a pipe.
Would smoke in a pipe.
Yeah, that's true. Very good. And also that the people before used to smoke a lot. Now, not so much because it's harmful for the health, no? So, but now the people don't used to smoke so much. But before, the people used to,
Mhm.
or the people would smoke a lot, right? Muy bien, Santi. Thanks a lot. Anything else?
Me, for example, now that I see the image of the letter, I remember that my grandmother always told us that she would write letters to our grandfather, our grandparent.
My grandmother told me the same, that she would always write, well, in that case, write letters to,
They lived like in different cities, so
yeah,
they always would do that.
yeah, exactly. So they would always do that, no? So like write letters because that was the way that the people communicate before, no? So good, muy bien. So in that case, Majo says she would always write. In this moment? No, no, no. In the past. It was a common habit in the past, right? Perfect. Good, excellent, right? Anything else about the communication?
Yes, in the last century, people used to use analog clock
Analog clock or telephone?
or telephone.
Well, okay, well, actually, analog everything, no? Analog phone, cell phone, clock, everything, no? So in, or we could say also during, which is the other expression we can use during the last century, because it was a long action, right? So during the last century, people used analog devices, right? So people, bueno, used to use, I can say, ¿no? Solían usar, used to use analog devices, analog clocks, analog phones, like all of that. Perfect, very good, right? Guys, if I want to say something that didn't happen in the past, also I can do it with these two expressions, depending the verb, of course. If I want to use the expression used to in negative form, it's a normal expression, so I would say with the affirmative, with the auxiliary, didn't, used to. For example, my grandmother didn't used to have a cell phone. Nobody actually used to have a cell phone, but Especially my grandmother didn't used to have a cell phone, right? I used to because the verb have is also an stative verb. Es un verbo de estado, no es un verbo de acción, right? So in that case, that's why I use used to. But let's say that I want to make a negation with would. Yeah, it's also possible. Of course, would is a modal verb, and it doesn't require an auxiliary, no? So it's gonna say like, okay, before my mom, sorry, my mom wouldn't go shopping so much. Wouldn't go shopping so much. So now she does, no? She has money and she goes shopping usually. But before, my mom wouldn't go shopping so much. In that case, the negative is going to be directly into the modal verb, wouldn't, while here it requires an auxiliary, right? Guys, is it clear the difference between would and used to? It's easy, right? No problem.
Teacher, I
Yes.
think the would is optional in action verbs.
Yes, exactly, because I can do anyway, I can use used to, and that's it. I
Okay.
simply can use used to, and that's it. Used to works for both kind of verbs, but would, it's going to be another possibility. It's optional with the action verbs, okay? Mhm.
And the people most common used to or would?
Mostly used to, but would it's a little bit more formal. So different kinds of people use the expression with would. It's something like more formal, no? When you want to emphasize first, like it's something more formal, and second, that it was an action that you used to do or that you would do frequently, right? The would and the will, as I told you before, they require certain expressions to conjugate that form into a custom. For example, the frequency address, no? Like, for example, you say, Maria Jose said, my grandma would always write letters to my grandpa. So in that case, okay, would always, I know with the frequency address, it's better to use the modal verb. But it's also possible to use it with used to. I mean, it's up to you, but would, yes, it appears. Not as frequently as used to, but it appears, okay?
Okay.
Now, that's talking about the habits in the past. But remember that I told you that we also have the topics in the present, like the customs right now, no? In this case, the customs right now are going to be directed into the verb will. And it's going to happen something similar. I can use the expression used to. Yeah, like simple as that. Or I can use will. Also, the same used to, it can go with action verbs or stative verbs, while the will is mostly used with the action verbs, right? As I told you here, we're going to have expressions of frequency address that are going to give me the evidence that is not the future, it's something that always will happen or that will always happen, which is like, okay, it's a custom, it's normal here, and it will always happen in the future. So it's something like an unvariable situation, unchangeable situation, you know? For example, nowadays, you know, nowadays, no, it's actually something that would always happen, but in this case, let's focus into the present. Politicians will always lie. Yes, they say that they want to protect us, but in reality, they want just to affect us, right? So I would say, from my humble and not politically charged opinion, the politicians will always lie, right? Something that it's customary now, it's common. Everybody knows that the politicians will always lie. So in that case, I use will, and that's it, right? Of course, I can use it using the expression used. So for example, they used to exaggerate the truth. Exaggerate the truth. Truth. Okay, over here, that's it, right? So used to, use without D, yeah, it's not with D because this is for the present. If it's in the past, then it's used with D, but in this case, it's only used to. So it just swelling, right? So they used to exaggerate the truth. Politician will always lie. So in that case, I have the two possible ways to express the suggestion, the customs in the present, or the habits in the present, right? What do you think, guys? Any other customs that you can see here? What about the kids? What about the people on Fridays? What about the people nowadays, the hobbies with the people? What are the customs nowadays?
For the child, the kids will always use cell phone, smartphone.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Sorry. Kids will use the smartphones. I can change the always. I mean, always is good, but I can change the always for all the time. For example, kids will use the smartphones all the time, like every day, always, and every time. No, so if I want to be a little bit more specific, or always is all right, but it's you have just have other different options. No, so they never want to stop using the cell phone. So the kid will always or will all the time use the smartphone, right? Okay, good, Santi. Thanks a lot. Majo, what about you, my dear?
My parents will always celebrate with a bear when my dad arrives home from work because he works on a ship. Like
Okay,
he spent 2 months on the,
on
how
the
do I say
ocean,
it?
on the sea.
Yes. And then he returns home from for 2 months.
Exactly.
So they will always celebrate with a bear and with a big meal the day he arrives home.
Very good. Majo, pronunciation of the deep double E. How do you pronounce this one?
Beer? Okay,
Exactly. Yes.
I say it like also. I said bear.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes, I
So in
noticed.
that case, yeah, when it's deep tongue, when the deep tongue go, double E is always E. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good, excellent. So in that case, they will always celebrate with a beer. Good, that's it. And usually people will, usually, not always, but the people will usually go to drink on Fridays, on Friday nights. The people will usually go to drink or to socialize, not to drink so much, but to socialize with people on Friday nights. No? Good, excellent. Guys, what about now? What is the trend about the life, the lifestyle? Before, the lifestyle was eating bad, uh, like traveling, drinking a lot. Nowadays, not so much. Nowadays, the people will or the people used to have other different hobbies. Now the people don't used to drink so much. The people will not always be drinking, right? So or smoking or partying. Now we have other different kinds of hobbies. What are those?
Nowadays people used to do Pilates. There is like a trend right now or something
Exactly.
because I feel like everybody does that.
Exactly. So nowadays the people, well, not the people used to practice or used to do Pilates, right? Which is like a fancy yoga, something like that. Very good. Excellent. That's great. So nowadays people already used to, not use, but use to do Pilates. Good. Excellent. Okay, what others? What others? What other kind of hobbies we have right now? Any other kind of trends, healthy trends? What do you think? What do you think? Any other kind? Pilates is just one, but Santi?
And no, nowadays, people will go to the gym.
Exactly. Yes. Well, maybe not everybody will go to the gym, but most of the people will pay it.
Most of it.
Now, after some months, they stop going, but they will pay it, right? So muy bien, excellent, Santi. That's one of the trends. Ready? Nowadays, the people will be like camping or doing things with nature all the time. Ready? every weekend they will always be traveling to the green spaces, to the green areas, to the lake, to the skate, like more natural plants, no? So those are our hobbies now. So in this case, we can have the two different ways to express customs. Customs in the present with will, and customs in the past with would, right? Now, now that we talk about the customs in general about the people, I would like you to tell me, how do you perceive the music nowadays? What are like the trends in music, or the trends on the lyrics, or well, probably you know, probably you don't know, but how's your perception about the music nowadays? How is it
Uh,
true?
Optimium, modern music is more to entertain than to convey a message.
Good. Very good. Okay, so you said that the modern music used to entertain more, and they sorry, they will not always, o bueno, más bien, it will not always transmit or conveys like that, right? Yes, a message, right? Muy bien, it's not a habit that they have, no? They have the habit to be entertaining, so it will always be entertaining, but it will not always convey a message. Completely true. Thank you, Santi. Majo, what do you think about it?
I don't know. I think the same. Um, I think that musicians nowadays used to write about sexual things a lot, and before, like in the past, were like deeper lyrics with deeper message.
Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
same something said, but in different words.
No, but it's true, no? But sometimes I consider that the people, the musicians before would always write, would also, sorry, would also write about sexual things, but more poetically, right? Now the messages are just too direct, but before they would try to make up a little
Yes,
bit, no?
like more romantic.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, because of course sex is an important part of life, but they would try to be at least more romantic, not so direct, no? So exactly like that. Very good. What about the music that you like? Wait, because of course I know, but I don't know, but I suppose I think that Majo likes K-pop. Do you like it? Yes, of course.
No,
You
no,
don't?
no, no. No, I don't.
So what
I
kind of
just
music do you
like
like?
K-dramas, but K-pop, no,
Not so much.
no. It's not my type of music. Actually, right now I'm just like into Christian music. I am very Christian. I don't know if you know, but I am very Christian.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I am trying to listen only Christian music in English, like
Well,
Hillsong.
uh-huh. But
Do
there
you
are
know
different
about
kinds
Hillsong?
of there are different kinds of Christian music, because there is one that is like gospel, or there are Christian music like
Mm,
different.
everything,
Uh-huh,
like
exactly.
everything. Right now, like at this month, I am like I used to listen to quiet Christian music.
Quiet, like
Like,
the adjective quiet.
yes, I how do I say, like tranquila,
Ah,
como
okay, calm.
like peaceful,
Peaceful
like
too. Oh,
peaceful music,
there is another one which
calm.
is mellow. Mellow sound, it's a mellow melody, a mellow music. It's something which is relaxing, peaceful,
Hmm.
calming. Mhm.
Okay, well, that, yes,
Okay, very good. That's
I'm
it.
just trying to listen to that music. I don't want to contaminate with the world.
Very good. That's something very wise of you. Very good. Okay. And Santi, what kind of music are you listening right now? Like in this moment of your life?
I like pop and classical music.
Good.
I
Excellent.
think it's lively and the others allow me to focus.
Okay, very good. That's it. So, for example, well, does those kind of music genres, like music kinds, they have certain customs, no? Like, for example, well, I have to accept that I like a lot the rock music, but I probably my favorite one is the ska music. You know, the ska is one subgenre of the rock, and I would say that it will always transmit, or it will always talk about, well, not always, let's say almost always, it will almost always talk about anti-racist messages. They will always talk about like freedom, like how did you say that? Equivalence, like, you know, like justice, all of those things. So that's why probably I like it. They will always be, or they will always sound pretty happy. It's like a happy carnivalistic music, but with very sociable messages. So that's what I like. In my case, that's my type of music. What about you? What's the costume that you have, or what is the normal pattern in those kind of music that you listen?
Teacher, for me, the classical music always, sorry, allows me to be more productive.
That's completely true. That's one of the purpose of the classical music, no? So it will always allow us to be more productive, to focus more, no? So that's it. Muy bien, Santi. Thanks a lot. And Maho, what can you tell us about the mellow sounds?
I think like this kind of sounds will always maintain my spirit, like
High,
what?
high,
Ah,
high. When I say my spirit high, it's
yes,
like
yes, hike. Yes, yes, like everything it, how do I say it? Like in its place.
yeah,
Yes,
everything
is
in its place.
like my mind is clear, like I maintain with my heart full of hope and faith,
Good.
and yes,
Okay,
that's
that's
it.
great. Pretty good, excellent. So there is an adjective, Maho, that it's high spirited, and it's like a summary of everything that you said. No, like you feel like comfortable, you feel in the right place, you feel that you are doing the right things. No, so in that case, I suppose that the music will always keep you high spirited. No, so it's something really good. Ready? Bueno, guys. Hasta ahí, guys. Questions about the habits in the past and in the present? Easy, difficult questions?
No question.
No, all fine. Good, excellent, very good. So when we talk about music, usually what we do is that we try to compare it, right? But and I know that you know how to do it. Like, okay, the probably the vallenato is more dramatic than the salsa. The salsa is more kinesthetical or kinesthetic than the kinesthetic. It means that requires more movement, no? So kinesthetic than the vallenato, or maybe the rock is heavier than blah blah blah. But that is not the kind of comparisons that we want here. Today, we're going to focus on one specific kind of comparison, and it's the double comparatives, right? The double comparatives over here are going to be one expression that allows me to show a relationship between two factors or between two aspects. It can be a directly proportional relationship or an inversely proportional relationship, right? So it means that it can be one thing that increases and produces the increment of the other, or on the other hand, it could be something that increases, producing, sorry, something that decreases, producing the increment of the other. So it's a inversely proportional relationship, right? Usually we're going to have the directly proportional, which is when both go up, no? For example, my dear Maria Jose, could you please help me to read the three examples here?
Okay. The more you study, the more you learn. The more I see her, the more I like her. The more we work, the more we earn.
Exactly, very good. So in that case, the more you study, the more you learn. The more I see her, the more I like her, and the more I do her, the more we earn. We can see that there are going to be two different sentences separated with a comma. What I do here is that I'm describing that when something happens, or the more one action happens, is going to cause that the other action also increases, right? For example, I say that if I study more, of course, I am going to learn more. It's a directly proportional relationship, ready? In that case, the expression starts with the more in both cases, and the verb. The more I study, the more I eat, the more I listen, the more I navigate. For example, one example about it, the more ska I listen, the more ska I listen, the more I want to dance. Because it's pretty happy music, so the more I wanna dance, right? So that is a directly proportional relationship. I listen more ska, I want to listen more. It's directly proportional. Ready? Also, if
Teacher,
yes, Dime, of course.
where is that type of music? I haven't
You
listened
haven't
to.
never listened to ska?
No, like
You
no,
tell me.
no,
No. Well,
nothing. Like I haven't.
there are different kinds of ska. It's a very old music. It's probably like from the 1950s, 60s, more or less. And it was originated in Jamaica, so it's pretty cheerful. It's
But like a group or a musicians. The which one?
well, my favorite. It's called the Scaralites. Scaralites. Now, in like in nowadays, we have others that are not so peaceful. Yeah, so but I prefer the Scaralites. They are a group from Jamaica, one of the best. And most of their music is instrumental, but also they have some other songs with lyrics, and I like it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Ah, okay, okay. It's also a high, like a high kind of music, no?
Yeah, of
Like a
course.
deeper and high, no?
Exactly. See, yes, exactly. So it's deep, well, deeper because it makes me feel super relaxed, and they don't even sing because it's
Mm-hmm.
instrumental, but I don't know how they do it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Well, so in that case, I can have the two things that increase or the two things that decrease. For example, on the opposite way, the less I sleep, the less I sleep, the less I concentrate, the less I concentrate. Yeah. For example, if I don't sleep, that is going to cause that I don't concentrate. It's equally like directly proportional, but in that case, both are decreased. Ready? So I can have the more I do something, the more da da da, or the less I do something, the less da da da. In that case, both are the same. Or on the other hand, I can mix it and have an inversely proportional relationship, which is something increase, the other one decrease, or something that decrease causes that the other one increase. For example, the more I exercise, the more I exercise, the less fat I have. You know, fat, it means like grasa. So the more I exercise, the less fat I have. One increase, the other one decrease, right? So that is the one that we have here. One, it's different from the other. Santi, could you please help me with these three examples, my brother?
Yes. The more I read, the less I remember.
Uh-huh.
The more he explains, the less I understand. The more I worry, the less I sleep.
Exactly. So in that case, one increases, the other one decreases, and that's it, right? Hasta ahí, is it clear the expression? Yes, until that, so far. Yes.
Clear.
Listo. Como entre más esto, más lo otro, entre más esto, menos lo otro. Bajo questions, all fine?
No.
No? All right, very good. Very good. So in that case, the first examples were with actions, no? The more ska I listen, the more I want to dance, actions. The more I exercise action, the less fat I have action. But it's also a possibility that I can make this kind of comparisons or double comparatives using adjectives or adverbs, right? For example, let's say, the more the more relaxing the music, the more relaxing the music, the more I like it. In that case, for example, the first one is not an action. The first one is a characteristic. The more relaxing the music, the more I like it. The second one is an action, okay, but the first one, no, right? Or maybe the second one, for example, the more I read, yes, the calmer I get, for example, right? So in that case, focusing on the characteristic, ready? I can have it combined with verbs or literally simply adjectives, ready? For example, my dear Maria Jose, read the first three, my dear.
The older we grow, the wiser we become.
Very
The
good.
higher you climb, the colder it gets. The
Uh-huh.
younger you begin to learn a language, the teacher quita la cosita, the easier it is.
The easier it is, I'm sorry. Yes, very good. So in that case, they are focusing not on the action, but on the characteristic that we have. Of course, it's a comparative, so the adjective is going to be in the comparative form. If it's monosyllable, ER, older, wiser, higher, colder, younger, or easier. Or if it's plurisyllable, two or more, it's going to have more at the adjective. For example, the more educated women are, the later they get married. Yes. So educated is educated, four syllables. So in that case, it requires more, ready? Or for example, privilege. The more privilege they enjoy. So in that case, it's necessary to include more after two syllables. Two or more syllables, they are going to require the more, ready? So, but in that case, focusing on the characteristic, not on the action. Normally, since they are talking about characteristics, normally we're going to have verb to be, no? But it's not always the same. It's like the most common verb that we use, but it's not always the same. I can have others. For example, the older we grow, the wiser we become. What is the meaning of wiser? Do you remember wiser?
Más sabio.
Más sabio, very good, excellent, right? So the older we grow, the wiser we become. The higher you climb, the colder it gets, se pone, ¿no? So lo más frío se pone, right? So on, so on. So, but in general, most of the times we're going to have the verb to be. ¿Listo? Questions about these comparatives with adjectives?
Teacher, why always use the before the verb?
Yes, I know. That's the expression how they created. But there is not like a theoretical answer. It's just that's the way they create the answer, the expression. But there is not a reason, like, it's like doesn't have an explanation for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ready? Okay, Majo, question, my dear.
No.
No, all fine. Very good. So, if you think in your musical taste, in your musical likes and dislikes, you are going to find that we can express it with some of these comparisons. For example, in my case, the happier the music, the happier the music, for me, no, of course, this is for me. The happier the music, the more entertaining. For me, entre más feliz, more entertaining it is. Yes, the happier the music, the more entertaining it is. Right? What about you? How would you describe your musical taste using this kind of comparatives, right?
I have one, teacher. The more you listen to classical music, the more you concentrate.
Exactly like that. The more you listen to classical music, the more you concentrate. That was great, very good. Any other describing your musical taste? I could say, for example, that the more superficial the message, the more catchy it gets. Catchy, you know what is the meaning of catchy?
Pegajoso.
Yes, exactly. So it's a catchy tune, something that the
Yes, and
people.
I agree with that, and I don't know what that happens. It's like I don't want to listen to that, but it's so catchy.
I don't know.
Not
It's
sh-
like the brain, it must
like
be designed for.
like the beats who well that.
There are some
Interesting.
different kinds of sounds. I don't know what happens with our brain, but yeah. Okay. So the more superficial the message, the more catchy it gets, right? Yes. But for example, something that happens to me, and I don't know if it happens to everybody, but the faster the song, the less I understand. Even if it's in Spanish, sometimes they sing in Spanish, but they sing so fast that I don't understand anything. So the faster the song, the less I understand, right? Any other kind of comments about your musical taste? You like more calmer music, you like more tropical music, you like, well, Santi likes more classical, but anything else? That maybe you like longer songs, shorter songs. What do you think?
I have another. The more I listen to a song, the more I remember the first time I heard it.
Santi, the more I remember what? Sorry, the more I remember the first time I.
The more I remember the first time I heard it.
Ah,
Heard.
okay, got it. Very good. So when you had like in your head a song, you remember the first time that you listened to it?
Depends the song, if my
Oh,
favorite or not.
yeah, pues I didn't know. Okay, good, excellent. That's great. Perfect, perfect. Okay, well, so in this case, guys, the idea was pretty simple. It was basically talking about your music, right? But of course, we are not in basic level, we're in advanced level. So you didn't say like, ah, see, the music is entertaining. Oh, my favorite band is ta ta ta. My favorite music is ta ta ta. No, you did it from a more deeper perspective, no? So you talk about the habits of the music right now, the habits of the music before, and some comparisons about those musical aspects of your life, no? So, for example, the longer the song, the more entertains me. In other people, it's the shorter the song, the better, right? So, one of the most common compliments is going to be the ta ta ta, the better, which is like mejor, right? So, for example, the longer the song, the better. The more popular the artist, the better. The I don't know, the more let's say the more I dance, the better. Yes, so in that case, the better it's going to be an expression or a compliment, which is pretty commonly used in order to complement this kind of idea, because it's like entre más mejor. That's it. And there is an expression which is the more, that I'm sure that you have listened, the more the merrier. That expression means entre más, mejor, de lo que sea que estén hablando, ¿no? So, for example, hey, do you like that song, or that band? Yeah, of course. Ah, well, I would like to invite this person. Ah, good, excellent. The more the merrier. The more the merrier, it means entre más, mejor, right? For example, Majo, they say like, okay, you have this dialogue in your character. Ah, okay, I thought that I was going to have 3. No, you're going to have 10. How does it matter? The more the merrier. So in that case, it's going to express that if a quantity increases, it's going to be fine, right? And it's based on the same structure. It's a double comparative, the more the merrier. Ready?
Teacher,
Uh-huh.
it is M A
E, M,
E.
E, which one? This one? The second one?
No, Merrier.
Yes, M, E, double R, I, E, R. Like Merry Christmas, but merrier. Let's say like this,
Ah, ok, ok,
merrier.
ok. Es que se leía como Marrier.
Ah, okay, no, merrier. Yeah, merrier, yes, yeah, that's it. Listo, very good. So those are the expressions that we have learned today. I mean, you continue talking about the same topics, which is music, something which have been talking about a lot of time, but from a different way, from a different point of view, and with very different expressions that you have used today. Ready? So, congratulations, you did it perfectly. Any questions, guys? Everything all right?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. All right. Very nice. Very good. So, guys, I it's very sad that you were the only two today because I was going to talk to the whole group. But anyway, today it's the week number 4. Oh, this week was the week number 4. So we are supposed to be in the 50% of the last level, right? If not, well, try to catch up. You should be over the 40-50% of the last level. But if not, try to catch up. Ready? We're going to have 1 week less of 1 week more, 1 week, 1 month more of class until October the 17th. Ready? October the 17th is the end of your contract. So we will probably be finishing classes 1 or 2 weeks before, more or less on October the 7th, October 10th, more or less, we are finishing the classes. And you are going to have 2 weeks more in order to complete all the activities that you have pending, okay?
Okay, teacher.
So guys, well, very good. Just for you to know, it was like a friendly reminder. And that's it, right? So guys, see you in the next class. We are going to have, I think, 2 classes, 5.1 and 5.2. So see you there and have a wonderful weekend, okay? Study a lot, listen a lot of music, and that's it.
Yeah, thanks, teacher. Good night.
Bye, Santi.
Teacher, thank you.
Bye,
Get
Majo. See you
well.
later.
Bye.
Goodbye.